It is obvious at this point that I have absolutely no love for the DWP, and it's difficult to find anyone who does. The simple fact that no court in this land will withhold food from anyone for any reason, and yet if you're 4 or 5 minutes late to a meeting at the job centre under the sanction quota, you will be sanctioned, which means you will be money will be withheld from you, meaning you can't buy money. Effectively, a court will not withhold food from a mass murderer, but the DWP, Esther McVeigh, will withhold food from you if you're 5 minutes late. But today I read almost an admission of guilt, and I say almost because the DWP will never admit fault. Even when it's blatantly obvious, even when it's unbelievably clear that they made a mistake, they will never admit that the mistake was theirs. But this article, and I'll leave the link down below, goes through and says that the DWP admitted to indirect deaths of over 111,000. So the exact number that this article states is 111,450 ESA claims were closed following the deaths of claimants. This is between March 2014 and February 2017. Already that is a massive, massive number. It's a fairly wide time gap, but it is between Esther McVeigh and Ian Duncan Smith, which is, of course, why I have no love for either one of them. But these ages were between 16 and 64. Just under 10,000 were in the assessment phase when they passed away. So I've had this firsthand. It can take months and months to actually get a claim up and running. And even though they say that they will backdate it to some point, that doesn't help with everything else. It certainly doesn't help with bills or with banks. If you go to your bank and say, hey, look, I'm signing on, but the job centre haven't quite paid me yet, well, that bank is a private owned company which is protected by the government because they care more about private companies than they do about the people. The bank is going to put interest charges on. The DWP is not going to pay that, so you have to find that money from somewhere. DWP doesn't give fortunes out. We are rapidly going back down to the times of the Victorian workhouses, making them as horrible as possible to try and dissuade people from going. An absolutely backwards way of thinking. But in regards to justice, the DWP had defended themselves by saying, no causal effect between the benefits and of people who died should be assumed following these figures. The department does not hold information on reasons for death. So that's their defence. Hey, this obscenely high number of people who have died during the process of claiming, possibly getting sanctioned, possibly going months without money, don't connect the dots. That has nothing to do with us. I mean, hell, we can't say it because we don't keep reasons for why people have died. It is an absolute fact that Esther McVeigh, Ian Duncan Smith and the higher ups of the DWP have blood on their hands because of the pressures that they put on people, because of the stress that they put on people, because of them ignoring doctors' notes and sending people into work when they're not physically capable, because they refuse to give people's pensions because the spouse had the money coming in and then the spouse died, leaving the grieving partner to fend for themselves while the DWP sorts something out because of a backwards policy, is absolutely grotesque. And at this point, it is unforgivable. I mean, we passed forgiveness a long time ago. 4.1 million children forced into poverty because of Esther McVeigh. The universal credits only being given to one person in the household, making it so much harder for victims of domestic abuse to get away from the abusive partner. For an elderly woman to survive on cheese from a wake of her late husband because the DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, can't get their fucking act together and do what they were meant to do as a government body, which is look out for the people, is disgusting. It is high time it was demanded by the UK public to call for Esther McVeigh's immediate resignation. This will not get better under Esther McVeigh's dictatorship. This will not get better because she denies reality. And I say denies reality because I have hope that deep down in that cold black heart she's a good person. Because she's either denying reality or she just doesn't care that people are literally dying because of her policies. So tweet Theresa May, tweet Esther McVeigh, tweet Ian Duncan Smith, as he is just as responsible for this as Esther is, and call for the demand of Esther McVeigh's immediate resignation.